I know now that William is so different from most of the royals. Yes, he has their blood, that cannot be denied. But he has mine as well. You believe everything you are told. But God doesn't make the wars, it's man. It's man wanting wars for greed, for money and for power. I was no icon. And I was determined my life was going to change. Underneath my smile, I was depressingly unhappy. Well, I wish you warm wishes from here in spirit. And I know you have been having some wonderful sunny days, which is well deserved for everybody on the planet. Because the sun does make you happier and feel less stressed. And of course, we also have news of the raw baby. And while that is very talked about in good ways and not so good ways, it is my privilege to be the grandmother of this new baby. Of course, this new baby is different because it has the cellular memory of my family and myself. Just as William and Harry are different. If we speak about William to begin with, he is so different from his father Charles. If you compare the coldness of Charles to the warmth of William, then it lifts my heart to see that. Of course, the royal family is the royal family. But I have done my part in bringing those boys in their early years to know and to feel and to be able to give and share love, which to me, unfortunately, their father Charles was never shown love, so how could we expect him to give it and share it? He did not know what love was, and of course I did not realise that in the early days. And I put no blame at his door, because it is a very different life to the lives that you lead. And although it is very privileged, it is also very lonely. I know now that William is so different from most of the royals. Yes, he has their blood, that cannot be denied. But he has mine as well. And so does this baby. And although at the time I was used to have the children to bring in the future king, it was also an advantage for humanity, because you will see a change over the years. And again, I ask you not to be too harsh of Kate. As with myself, I knew very little what went on. I was told, and I believe what I was told. And your life is so hectic. Everything is organised for you. And you believe, because you have no reason, you believe everything you are told. I did that. But again, I learnt, and in the end, I questioned everything and everyone. So we are always pleased here in Spirit World when any child is born. And there were many born on that day. And we give thanks, special thanks, for all the children that were born healthy, and thanks for the children that may not have been born in what we call complete. But you see, they are complete, totally complete, because God makes no mistakes. And so I would ask you to watch and to see what is going on now in the royal family, and notice the subtle changes. Of course, lepers can't change the spots, or certainly not overnight. And so you ask again, what is happening in your world? A lot is happening. There are many changes, and you say that it's been going on for so long. When? Why are we having to wait? Because, as I have said before, it has to be the will of God. If it was orchestrated with the will of man, it would be totally chaotic. You think it is chaotic now, but if it was left to man to organise things on his own, of course man does organise things, but it has to be it has to be with the force and the will of God behind it to orchestrate it. It has to be done in a timely way. It has to be done with the time and the flow of everything. And it is being done. And I've said on many occasions, it is going quicker than we ever thought it would. People are waking up. Yes, there's still some fast asleep, and maybe they'll stay there until their next reincarnation. But there are many, many waking up, and many, many thinking and sharing their love and their caring for each other. And the energies, yes, different energies, strange energies, loving energies are coming your way, and sometimes they seem to make no sense. And you question it, and I would say, just go with it. While it is quite odd in some ways, it is working for you and with you. And as the energies change, of course they are changing and vibrating in the organs of the body. So it is important to watch your diet, to drink clean water, to make sure and read the labels on your foods. Keep away from all the artificial colourings and sweetenings, and of course the GMO foods. Check everything. Do your best. That's all you can do. And know that we are always with you. And when you look out on these beautiful days as you've been given, with the beautiful flowers and trees and the birds and all the animals, then you know without a doubt that there is a God, and a very loving God. And you say, well, Where is He? Where is God with these wars? God is there with the wars. He is there with the people. But God doesn't make the wars. It's man. It's man wanting wars for greed, for money and for power. But things are opening up, things are coming to the surface, as I've said many, many times and started to say when we first started with the channelings, things will come up to the surface. Sometimes you think, oh my goodness, that's just so awful. But without that information, how can things clear? And things are clearing. And I know, as many of you are still feeling fearful, I can feel and see that fear subsiding very gently and very slowly. And when you feel fearful, just connect to your Creator and know that all is well and you will be cared for. I believe you have some questions, Jack.
I do, Diana, thank you again. And you know that I have my worldview is one of republicanism, which is anti-hereditary wealth, but I did find your comment about the royal baby very touching. So what I'm wondering is, if there's any way people who would not be disposed towards the royal family for reasons that you're aware of might embrace some of your comments about the changes and how that also fits in with the fact that we're all equal in the eyes of God.
You see, we always say that God works in mysterious ways, and I was chosen to be Princess and to marry Charles. And as I said, that suited certain people. But again, behind the scenes, in the unseen world, they were working also, although I was not aware of that, of course, at the time, nor was I aware of the other side working. I was just a young girl who was in love with her prince. And so I was not aware of any of the background. And the work that was going on from the unseen world. But as I became a mother, then of course the energies and the cellular memory and the love that I had. Bear in mind, I knew none of this at the time. Of course, were given to those children. And I have had many lifetimes, as you all have. And as you know, I spent many times and many years within the Essenes. And the Essenes were one of the most loving communities this planet has ever known. And although I did not know at the time, of course, what is in me, my cellular memory of love, and working from the heart, and wanting to help people, I have passed on to my children. And that came out only in my later years. And that came out through my own suffering, as I did suffer, you know, and my own anxieties and my depressions and hurts. And you know, they all go on about Princess Diana, the icon. You look back, I was no icon. I was indeed a very plain Jane. But as I went through the terrible times that seemed so dark and so black, of course, the dark night of the soul on many occasions for me, and then you'll know, many of you will know what I'm saying here, you hit so low that there's only one way. And so of course, when I totally realised there was no going back to Charles, which that is, I believed would happen and what I dearly wanted, but when I really knew that it was the end, after total devastation, I picked myself up and dusted myself down, as they say. And I was very fortunate and very privileged that I could spend the money on dresses and hairstyles, and I had the people around me, so I could have the best of everything. And I was determined my life was going to change, and to prove to myself that I could do these things by myself. I suppose one of the biggest disappointments was when they took Her Royal Highness away. Although I can't say now why, but it meant something to me, and maybe that was the hold that I felt I could have with Charles. Once that was gone, then I knew my life had to change. And so my life went to people who were less fortunate than me, because people had seen me in my privileged lifestyle and thinking how lucky I was, how privileged I was, and yes I was. But there are many times when I've walked amongst the crowds or even driven, and I have so wanted just to be like you, like people on the street. I will say at times envied their life, their lifestyle, because you see, they seemed and looked so happy. Underneath my smile, I was depressingly unhappy. And so you get to the point of no return, and I got there. And yes, I used all my willpower and all my energy to turn my life around. And my life was one of caring for others, genuinely caring for others. And so, I feel proud to be part of the family And I don't mean the raw family, but I mean the family that I've been part of with William and Harry, and now of course the baby George. Because however people want to deny it, those boys are 50% me. And so my cellular memory will carry on for a few more generations. And so you will see kindness, you will see a different approach, a hands-on approach. And you will see love.